Hello guys, Crocky's here, and it seems the EULA has come up once again in the Minecraft community. This time Mojang has finally decided that they're going to take action against servers breaking their policy, and linked below is a list of servers who've been blacklisted from the 1.9.3 R2 client. When you connect to these servers in the client, an error will pop up saying that you could not reach the destination. The server names are listed in the description below. What exactly are my thoughts though? Well, I believe these servers have been given sufficient time to cater to the EULA's demands. If you didn't know, the EULA update has been out for approximately 20 months now, and compliance emails have been sent to the offending servers more than once before the blacklisting took place. Let's take another view though, and we'll go point counterpoint throughout the Reddit post linked below, improperly named Server Owners Respond to the Mojang Blacklist. Reading the post will be Butler Bandit from Insomniac Servers.
Today we are on the verge of death for Minecraft as you know it. Some of you believe that EULA enforcement is a good thing, and many of you recognize the incredibly lethal impact it will have on our community. The purpose of this article is to concisely explain current events and what you can do to help.
There's a lot of buzzwords here at the start of the post, yet nothing was really said, so let's move on.
So what has been happening? Over the past 2 months, large network owners have been receiving emails from Mojang regarding EULA enforcement. They made demands for compliance, refused to discuss any alternatives, and went radio silent afterwards. Communication on their end was extremely poor, and even though we tried to have a professional discussion with them regarding what is best for the community, they made no attempt to listen. As such, none of the large networks complied to their demands, because we know it will be the death of Minecraft if we do.
They did give alternatives. Cosmetics, for instance. They went radio silent because they had no room for discussion. The EULA is not up for debate, and using the phrase none of the large networks is fallacious here because many large networks did comply with the EULA.
What will happen if EULA enforcement continues? All of the medium to large size servers across the world will die, and you will have extremely limited options for where to play your favorite game. It has been tried time and time again, and the server networks that switch to EULA compliance all die off. Speaking from my own network, which has peaked at a few thousand players online, I can tell you firsthand that our network expenses number in the tens of thousands of dollars per month. Each year we spend an incredible amount of money to pay developers, artists, system administrators, community managers, and more. EULA compliance will cut revenue down by over 90% based on networks that have tried it before. We will simply not be able to afford the game experience you were used to, and will eventually close down. MCPVP used to be one of the largest servers in the world, became EULA compliant, and shrank down to a minuscule size because they could no longer afford to pay their bills.
Now, the argument here could seem valid, but their supporting facts are actually incorrect. Let's boil all this random nonsense into actual points to argue against. So, 1. EULA compliance will cut revenue down by 90% based on other networks, which is anecdotal evidence, so it's invalid. And 2, MCPVP closed off because it became EULA compliant. Now, anyone who knows MCPVP's history would know that MCPVP did not die off because of the EULA, but because of extremely poor hosting. Their moderators ended up either getting demoted or just quitting outright, causing a debacle with the server, eventually losing much of its player base. Both of the points shown in this paragraph have no grounds.
If we are forced to become EULA compliant, the server networks that range between 100 and 2,000 players will slowly shrink in player count, until they're eventually finished. The only networks that will survive are the mega networks, such as Mineplex and Hypixel, and the servers that are too small for Mojang to monitor. Minecraft as you know it will be completely changed in every aspect, and your favorite server won't switch to EULA compliance as you think they may. They will simply cease to exist. Please understand that these networks are not just in it for themselves, but we employ thousands of people across the community. I can tell you firsthand that several of my employees rely on our networks to pay their bills and provide for their families. They will be hurt hard, but the hundreds of thousands of players affected by this blacklist will hurt the worst.
Nothing said here presents evidence, only appeals to emotion. No evidence has been presented, and therefore everything in this paragraph has no merit. And isn't it strange how the servers who have signed this argument are only the servers who've been blacklisted? If their point was valid and servers could not become EULA compliant without dying off, wouldn't servers who haven't been blacklisted jump on the bandwagon here? Recently, and I will name names, I went to a server named Mind Heroes. It's a server with a player cap of 750 and regularly gets about 300 or more players active. Now, this server is abhorrent in its EULA breaking practices. If you simply walk around, you will notice that the only way to rank up is by buying ranks on their website. Now, this isn't enough to break the EULA, but what they do with these ranks is. First, on their PvP faction server, anyone with a high enough rank can automatically heal with /heal, feed themselves with /feed, and fix their tools in their hand. Second, on their peaceful survival server, anyone who buys and gets /fly, fix tools with a command, and the ability to move and change mob spawners however they wish. The entirety of the server is like this. Those who buy ranks get a ridiculous advantage, i.e. God mode and skyblock and healing in PvP. This is manipulative to the player base, rather than gaining money from trust and donations and cosmetics. They earn their revenue from pay-to-win mechanics, a have and have-not scenario. An open letter to the writers of the Reddit post: if your server cannot survive on cosmetics and donations, which has been done many times and documented, then you seriously need to rethink your business model and how you treat your players. The EULA has been here for an extended period of time, and for good reason. Even though the original outburst towards the EULA was because of restrictions, over time the player base has learned it's for good reason to stop manipulation of the community. There has been proper communication from Mojang. It began 20 months ago when they updated their EULA. Whining about your server going to shambles because you chose to ignore the EULA is not a problem the player base should deal with. Instead, look to yourselves for the problem, and maybe you can fix it. Linked below are some solutions to this problem. As always, guys, if you liked the video, make sure to like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos similar to this one. This is more of a ranty video, I know. Not much of a redstone video. Tomorrow we'll go back to the redstone video. Any ideas, facts, and other things you can come up with, please tell me in the comments below. I'm really curious, and I'm willing to debate anyone on this issue. Thanks.